right here. This is the Big Ten college football standings right now. It's the Big Ten conference. Obviously, the conference that USC, UCLA, Washington, and Oregon all just jumped into. Let's take a quick look at where USC and UCLA are. Okay, there's Indiana, there's Oregon, Penn State. Okay, there's Nebraska, there's Iowa. Okay, Michigan's down here. There's Minnesota. Here's Washington. Here's Rutgers. Here's Northwestern. Here is USC, 4 steps from the bottom of the Big Ten. Where's UCLA? UCLA is going to own this spot in the Big Ten. UCLA is not going to do anything in the Big Ten. We all kind of already knew that. They're not going to do anything in the Big Ten. And they're going to own, if you're building a home, you need a good foundation. You need good concrete on the bottom. UCLA is going to be the concrete, the foundation to the Big Ten. Their ass is going to sit at the bottom of the conference, and they're probably not going to go anywhere. The question is going to be, how far is USC going to be from the bottom? Because right now, and as much as people want to sit back and say, they lost a close one to Michigan. They lost a close one to Penn State in OT, even though they were up 14. They lost a close one against Minnesota. You listen to Lincoln Riley, and Lincoln Riley will tell you they're 3 plays away from being 6-0. That's cool. You know what they should do? They should do in the standings here on ESPN. They should put USC Trojans 1-3 and, put what they are overall, what their overall record is, put what they are at home and road. And then they should put in parentheses, they should put 3 plays away from being 6-0 and then put the Lincoln Riley quote under that, because maybe that will help Lincoln Riley and USC feel better about themselves, that they're 3 plays away from being 6-0. They're 3-3 overall. Their chances of making the college football playoff, forget about it. That's done. That's not happening anymore. They do it. By the way, they started the season off with a really good win against LSU. I know they have, I believe, the toughest schedule through 6 games of the college football season so far. But when the dust settles and you go look at that top 25 and you're trying to figure out who are the 12 teams that are going to make the college football playoff, SC ain't going to be one of them. And UCLA, I'm not going to waste my breath to talk about UCLA because we know they're going to be nowhere near it as well. I wonder, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not in 5 years from now. I wonder if there's going to be any part of USC, and I'm going to say USC only because I think USC was really the trigger of this entire thing folding, and I'm talking about the Pac-12. I wonder if USC will ever look back and say to themselves that, by the way, Lincoln Riley has lost 8 of his last 13 games. That's really good to have on your resume. But I wonder if they're ever going to say to themselves, should we have not gone to the Big Ten? Should we have just tried to improve the Pac-12? Should we have just gone out there and got a new commissioner? Should we have gone out there and tried to target the best commissioner or one of the best commissioners in college football? Should we have gone out there and tried to work on a new TV deal and done everything in their power to just kind of structure the Pac-12 from a long-term basis? Should they have gone out there and try to recruit other schools to come join the Pac-12, go try to grab some high leverage schools in the state of Texas or some high leverage schools in Florida? Should they have found a way to make sure that the Pac-12 did not die? Because if you go look right now at that Big Ten, of course, this is just, they're no-brainers. Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State, this is always going to be what those schools are all about. The funding is always going to be there. Making the playoff, they're going to be either in the playoff every year or knocking on the door to make the playoff. Then you're going to have other schools out of nowhere that are going to come into play and are going to be a headache. Schools like Nebraska, Indiana this year is I think 6-0 so far, and I'm not saying they're going to be there every year. Minnesota cares about football. Wisconsin cares about football. I haven't even mentioned Washington and Oregon yet, and Oregon, the second-ranked team in the country right now. Will there ever be a moment that USC and UCLA, I'm not even going to mention UCLA because I think whatever USC did, UCLA was going to follow. Will there ever be a moment where USC looks back and said, why didn't we just keep that Pac-12, try to improve the Pac-12, go get a real commissioner that can get us a TV deal, take a TV deal just to kind of, okay, for the short term, let's stabilize the conference and then think about it long term. I don't know what's going to happen over the next couple of years. I just know that USC is in a conference where all they care about is football. all they care about is football, and that there's easily 5 teams every single year that will be fighting for that playoff berth. And maybe USC can figure it out and turn it around, and maybe Lincoln Riley's quotes of, hey, we're 3 plays away from being 6-0 is going to resonate for somebody. It's not resonating, I think, for me, and it's probably not resonating for a lot of SC fans. But I pause for a second that the decision that they made, and I get the revenue, I get the money that's coming in, but you're playing with the big boy. You're playing with the cream of the crop now. Whatever happens to college football in the next 5 years, who knows? Maybe there's more realignment. Maybe there's this, just everybody's in a pool and it's the top 70, 75 schools. I don't know what's going to happen. I just know that the 2 schools from LA that went into the Big Ten are literally sitting at the bottom of the Big Ten in their first year. And it's not like the worse you perform, the better your recruiting comes in, the more NIL money you get. A lot of this just has to do with, if you're successful and if you're having success, then more success comes. I don't know. They thought Lincoln Riley was going to be the savior. He clearly hasn't been. That's my quick rant on the college football front right there. All right, let's see what we got here. My Trojans suck right now. SC killed the Pac-12. 100% they killed the Pac-12. And listen, I get it. There is a reason why they killed the Pac-12. And I understand the finances that comes with joining that Big Ten. I'm not questioning that. All I'm saying is, when you're on the top of the food chain with the Pac-12, when you pretty much kind of control what happens with the conference, when from a recruitment perspective, you got some of the best athletes in the world that are coming out of the state of California, and specifically Southern California. You just went to go play with the big boys, and you're not coming into that conference looking like a big boy. You've had tough games. You've had close matchups. I get all that. You don't even have Ohio State on your schedule this year. You don't even have Oregon on your schedule this year. What's going to happen next year when those schools are when they are on your schedule? Penn State, you had a 14-point lead at home and you couldn't hold on to it. I just, I wonder how much of all of this they will potentially look back on and say to themselves, I'm not sure we should have done this.